Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. Now, after one whole year of lockdowns, celebrities, actors, athletes, all have seen their livelihood and income either come to a halt or dramatically reduce. And equally, the fans of these same people have been left feeling a little down and fed up. But what would happen if technology built a bridge between those famous people and their fans? What if you could get your favourite footballer, actress, comedian, reality star or YouTuber to wish a family member or best friend a personalised video message? That is exactly what a new platform called Memo does. And since the outbreak of the pandemic, Memo experienced a massive demand. And I think it was in April 2020, the number of celebrity sign-ups doubled compared to March. And video orders increased by 300%. And by October, they were double that of September, a trend which continued into the festive period. But how did a couple of guys with an idea in Sweden create a vision and leverage technology to bring it all to life? And what lessons does that have out there for other startup founders? Well, today I've invited co-founder Gustav Lundberg Toresson onto the podcast to learn more about all this and, of course, the tech startup scene in Sweden. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Sweden so we can speak with Gustav about all this and much more. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Thank you very much. So I am Gustav Lundberg Torson. I am from the south of Sweden, and I am the co-founder and the CEO of Memmo.me. So I'm working with our vision of connecting celebrities with fans and businesses through personalized one-to-one experiences. That's what we do on a daily basis over here.
I love that. And you guys have been on my radar for a while because, like you say, Memo is a Swedish platform that enables fans and businesses to actually book personalised video messages from celebrities and influencers. So I have to ask, what is the story behind this company? Did you want Thomas Brolin to wish you happy birthday, or what is the story there?
Well, it's actually funny because you can do exactly that today, but a year and a half ago you absolutely could not. It's actually a crazy story because, like, rewinding a few years, I've been very fascinated by a few things in my life, and one of them has been the tech industry and how you're building the future with tech. Like, you're not looking backwards, you're really looking forward, and you're seeing how the world is being shaped with new technology. A lot of people know this already, and like that's been a very big part of my life. And then I've also had like other parts that have not really crossed this at all. One of them is entertainment. So I studied acting when I was younger, and I've also always been very fascinated about celebrity culture and meeting inspiring people. And I've wanted to work with how you can find that cross-section of entertainment and tech in a scalable way. So the idea behind Memo actually came up when I was at a wedding in France, and the groom at this wedding, on the dinner, he received a video from a local French football player, and I had no clue who this football player was. And it was someone in the second or third league, but the whole dinner just went electric, and the whole atmosphere just got crazy. And it was such a positive experience for everyone there. And on the other hand, I realized how cumbersome it was to actually make this video happen, because this is very lowly prioritized on many of the celebrities' prio lists, because they get a lot of these requests today, and it's usually from someone they know or someone who has a lot of luck that actually gets these videos. So a few days after I called my friend Tobias and we sat down and started writing to a lot of Swedish celebrities and didn't get a single response. And then we were like, wow, this is a huge problem and this is a huge thing. And it's a global phenomenon. We have to do something about this. And that's when we created our vision.
I love that. And for any wannabe startup founders that are listening, and maybe they've got their own idea and they want to bring it to life, they want to create their own vision like you did. When it comes to, you need complex technologies in place to build Memo to what it is today, and maybe you've not got those tech skills, maybe you need to bring those tech skills in. Where did you begin and how did you bring that idea to life?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, both me and Tobias, my co-founder, we were not tech people at all. So our first step was to bring in our third co-founder, Daniel, on the journey as well, our CTO. But I mean, today it's so different from, obviously 20 years ago, 15 years ago, even 5 years ago. Like today you have all these no-code platforms that are basically drag and drop to build an app. You can sit in Google Sheets and build your own data management tools, and there's so much coming. I see every month there are new tools coming that you can actually build real companies without code. So that whole development is very exciting for new startup founders. I think like you don't need to be that limited. You had to be 1 or 2 years ago, and I mean 20 years ago you could barely build a website without a lot of advanced code, and today you can just go on Squarespace and do it yourself. For our sake, we knew we had to build the platform, we had to build the app. We tried to keep it as simple as possible. You just go on the memo.me website, you get the idea in a second. And we really tried to keep down all the bells and whistles to make it as easy as possible for the customers and for our talent.
And when you've got that technology in place and you've built your platform, then you've got to try and secure celebrities on the platform to make it a success. And I think you've got over 2,000 on the platform at the moment. But how did you secure them all?
Yeah, it's really changing over time. And as you say, today we have thousands of celebrities and talent on the platform. And I mean, in the beginning, we realized this was such a big thing and problem when we ourselves DM'd a lot of famous personalities on Instagram and didn't get any responses. So, I mean, we realized in the beginning we had a few steps we needed to take to go live, building the platform, obviously, recruiting the team. We raised a financing round, a seed round of $2 million. But we obviously also had to get the celebrities on board. And, the first thing that we really realized was that we want people who really want to be on the platform, who really want to be on Memo. So we didn't want to pay anyone. We didn't want to make any guarantees. This was completely up to the celebrity. And then we did our different tries to get in contact with these people. And that was, through cold emailing, through DMing on Instagram, going through our networks. And it was a very scrappy process in the beginning. And over time, that has evolved into our own in-house team that is bringing these celebrities on. And then we also have a referral system where all these talent can refer their talent friends, and then they get a certain percentage of their income over a certain time.
And I'm curious, since the outbreak, and we're coming up to 12 months of lockdowns here, apart from you in Sweden, of course, but that's another topic for another day. But has Memo experienced a massive demand during these last 12 months?
Yeah, it's been growing crazily, but it's pretty much it's most of our lifetime has been during the pandemic since we went live. We went live in December 2019, and we saw like a lot of demand from start. And then we had those first 4 months when there was no pandemic, and then it's been another 8-9 months with the pandemic. So like comparing is a bit hard, but I think what we can see the patterns being is that the demand has always been there, and the demand will always be there because this is a human phenomenon. What's interesting is on the talent side, we've seen a crazy growth in the number of signups from celebrities and inbound applications, people that go on the website and apply as a profile. When the pandemic hit, I think many of them realized they could actually be in their homes, in their living rooms, and making a lot of money, and still in the same time making their fans happy and connecting with businesses as well. And I think that many people realized. So that just saw our number of celebrities go up very, very rapidly.
And what kind of challenges did you have in scaling Memo to meet that demand in such a short space of time? Because it must have created a very nice problem for you.
Yeah, it's actually one of the nice things with a business model is that it's inherently scalable. Our growth and our virality is built in within the product. So basically, when someone sees a memo or when someone gets a memo, they are in 9 out of 10 cases shared with someone else because they're usually bought as a gift. So, our growth feeds new growth. And on our side, we're a platform, so we don't get that involved manually. So it's more been for our side to scale operationally when it comes to be relevant, be local when it comes to new markets, understand cultures, understand geographies. So, we're European and we have that in our DNA. Sweden and Stockholm is a massive tech hub, but almost every company here needs to think global or at least international from day one. And that's been in our DNA from day one. And I think that's where we focus our expansion efforts most to really understand how to scale across geographies and understand the local differences.
Love that. And it sounds like that you've conquered much of Europe from the research I was doing before you came on the podcast today. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the US, Cameo is your main competitor. So what kind of mindset do you think any other startup founder should have listening out there, especially when it comes up against a big player and how you increase your market share and go up against them? Is there anything you've learned there that you would like to pass on?
This industry of celebrity engagement is extremely early in. There's never been more creators and famous people in the world ever in history, and it's growing exponentially, the number of people that are potential talent on the platform. So it's very, very early in. And the whole creator and passion economy, which is the name of the wider space, is just going to grow very, very rapidly over the coming years. So, a healthy industry, which this is, requires healthy competition. And we very rarely look at other players. We really only care about what's happening within our own walls. And that's my recommendation to other founders as well. Don't focus on other players, focus on what you're doing yourself. Help your if you're in the marketplace, help your supply side with as much value as possible, and help your customers having the best experience, and then you're going to do really well.
Sound advice. And now for the cool part of the podcast, I've got to ask, how does Memo work, and who are the most in-demand celebrities right now?
Yeah, so Memo works in the way that you go onto the website, www.memmo.me, Memmo. And then you see a big list of celebrities, thousands of them. And then you can search for whoever is your favorite personality. And we have verticals in everything from creators such as TikTokers and YouTubers to comedians to athletes and actors and singers, and you name it. If they have fans, they are on Memo, probably, or we are soon getting them. And then you write your request as a script or as instructions, and then you pay the price that the profile has posted. And then that money is withdrawn or held on our account. And then they get a ping in the app, and they make it within a few days, sometimes within a few hours. And then you get the video back to your email and your phone, and then we withdraw the money. That's how the basics work. And then now we're also adding on more products that are for businesses to, create announcements and marketing content. And it's basically, if you go on the website, you're gonna figure out how it works. And the most in-demand celebrities, it's really varying by culture, actually, which is really interesting. But generally, athletes tend to work really well. People in reality shows, funny people in general with strong personalities, They are usually very much in demand, but obviously that also changes over the year. So, we just had Valentine's Day now a few weeks ago, and there's a certain type of celebrity that works well for Valentine's Day. In the UK, you have Mother's Day coming up for the 14th of March, and that's going to be huge, obviously. So, I mean, to all the listeners, you should get a memo for your mother, and that could be someone from a reality show or a comedian or something like that. So it usually depends on what time of the year.
Love that. And is there a big difference between, let's say, the top celebrities in Sweden and Britain? Or I would assume there is, but who is the most popular in Sweden, should I say?
Yeah, so it's actually really funny when you look at the differences, because in the UK, I think you Brits are way more funny than we are. You're more witty. You have more creativity looking at the requests. So there you have comedians work really well in the UK. In Sweden, it's more like loved athletes. So we have Börje Salming is an ice hockey legend who played in the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Swedish national team. Peter Forsberg is another ice hockey player. And then we have football players that tend to work really well. But we also have a few reality stars, Maria Montazami, Sven-Goran Eriksson, who you also know is very popular in Sweden as well, the ex-English football coach. So yeah, it's really interesting to see, and it's a lot of popular celebrities from like the older generation right now, but I think in time that will probably shift as well.
Love it. And I'm curious, what kind of feedback have you received from celebrities? Do you get to hear much from them?
Yes, so I think their biggest surprise is that, whenever you hear about Memo, I think you kind of think of this as, a toy or a gimmick, and, it might be fun, but, maybe I'll try it out, maybe not, and then you wait. I think almost everyone that gets active has told us is that they never thought they could make this much money, and B, that they really think it's awesome to connect with their fans in this way, because they get reaction videos sent back to them. They get reviews. They get like these 5-star reviews with people who have loved them for 30 years and just telling them crazy stories about how much they've impacted their lives. So, we have these celebrities join our Monday meetings now, one at a time, and they tell us all these crazy stories that they've gotten from their fans, and also how much, this is helping them. So it's been amazing to, help everything from impersonators to comedians, with a new revenue stream, and at the same time making their fans happy.
Oh man, it sounds like we're going to need to get you back on in a few months just to share some of those crazy stories that you've heard.
Yeah.
But something I'm always keen to do on this podcast as well. I have a podcast every day of the week, every day of the year, and we have somebody different from anywhere in the world. And I'm always keen to put their country and their city on the map. So can you tell me a little bit more about the tech startup scene in Sweden and what excites you about the road ahead?
Yeah, well, I mean, starting a company in Stockholm, Sweden is one of the best places I can imagine. I think I heard it's the highest or second highest, unicorns per capita in the world, when unicorns, $1 billion valued companies, and you can really feel it, kind of this like Silicon Valley vibe where people are really helpful. Helping each other out. We have Spotify's headquarters next door. We have Klarna's headquarters the other way. And there are just so much talent that gets inspiration from role models that have been in the startup scene and the IT industry for 20, 30 years. So yeah, it's a really good culture of helping each other out. And I think that's crucial to build really amazing companies. So I'm really, really excited, I'm really happy that we start in Sweden, because it's a great place to start from. And then if you think globally with a marketplace like we do, I think it's one of the best places to do that in the world, actually, because then you really have this, you have this tarmac to fly from whenever you go to new countries. And it's also a great social safety net and all those things that actually makes it easier as an entrepreneur than I think in many other places. And what excites us about the road ahead is, going to new markets, really spreading this love and joy with new types of products. One thing to mention now is that we're actually today announcing our Series A round of $10 million. So we will be using those funds to help fans and small businesses connect in a lot of new ways. So we're really excited here today, actually.
Wow, sounds like incredibly cool time. And if we have any celebrities listening that are thinking that they might want to find out more and sign up, or equally if we've got somebody listening that wants to send their mother a memo on Mother's Day or somebody's birthday coming up, or just want to find out more information, where's the best place to find all that information?
Yeah, so if you're a celebrity, you can either go on our website and click in the menu, apply as talent, or you can email talent@memo.me. If you're looking for a memo for Mother's Day, you can go on memo.me, and then you see the section Mother's Day, is a curated section of very relevant talent. If you want to get in contact with me, if you have any questions, I'm usually most easily reached on Instagram, GLTORE. Or on LinkedIn. My email is flooded, so it's usually easier to write me on LinkedIn or Instagram, and I'll do my best to help in whatever way I can.
Well, before you came on the podcast today, I did have a quick scan through some of the celebrities. There's a whole heap of fun and mischief I could get up to on there, I tell you. But I'm really looking forward to giving it a try out myself with some of my friends. But more than anything, just thank you for coming on here and sharing your startup story behind it. And, of course, creating a tech startup in Sweden. It's a great story. I wish you the best for the future. And I'd love to get you back on later in the year and see how that journey's progressing. But more than anything, just thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure, Neil. Thank you. It was great to talk with you.
Wow, what a great story. And like I said a few moments ago, I could get up to a whole world of mischief using this app. And I've already made a note of Paul Chuckle from the Chuckle Brothers and Clinton Baptiste, the hopeless medium from Phoenix Nights, all of which has given me a few ideas. But I especially love how they had an idea and proof that anyone can bring it to life by getting other people in to bring the complex technologies on board and get Memo out there. So one of the big takeaways for me from Gustav there was, if you've got an idea, don't let a lack of technology hold you back. You could just be the idea guy. But I'd love to hear your insights, experiences, thoughts, anything at all. And remember, there's always a space for you on this podcast if you'd like to share your story with me. Or equally, you could just send me a quick comment, question, whatever it is, by emailing me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. My website is techblogwriter.co.uk. So I'm going to sign off now and say a big hello to all my listeners in Sweden, and a big thank you to each and every one of you, wherever you listen in the world, for listening to this podcast. So I'll be waiting for you in your podcast feed tomorrow. So a big thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.